Hey everyone, I'm Doc Sholo and today I'm going to talk about herd health management. Okay, so what is herd health management? Okay, to give you an idea, it is a general strategy to optimize health, welfare, and production in a population of animals through the use of important or relevant data and also through regular observations of the animals as well as their environment in order for the producer to make appropriate decisions to adjust and improve herd management over time. Okay, so an effective herd health recognizes the need to treat sick animals or individual animals as well as treat the whole population. Okay. Good nutrition as well as a clean environment contribute to herd health. Okay, so what are the two basic strategies against diseases? Okay, first is to prevent disease entry, or it is known as biosecurity. And then next is to eliminate disease that is present in the herd, or biocontainment. Okay, so next we'll talk about the disease triad. Okay, so the disease triad, it is composed of the animal's immunity, the disease agent, as well as the environment. Okay, all three are related when we are talking about diseases. Okay, so let's start with the disease causing agent and the animal's immunity. Okay, if the animal's immunity is high, then it is able to repel the disease causing agent. Okay, the disease may not manifest at all, or the animal may develop okay defense systems against that disease. Right. So then, how is the animal immunity related to environment? Okay. If the environment where the animal is in is good or is viable for its growth, okay, then it is not stressed. Okay. If the animal is not stressed, then its immunity is high. Okay, next, how about the environment and disease causing agent? So, the environment, it may or may not have a disease causing agent. Okay? In the event that it does, then appropriate measures should be taken to minimize or remove the disease causing agent from the environment. Some of these would include appropriate rest periods for animals, as well as cleaning and proper disinfection. Okay, so here are some more strategies against animal diseases. Okay, we have here isolation of sick animals, implement appropriate vaccination strategies, alter the environment, herd history, and surveillance. Okay, so first let's talk about isolation of sick animals. Okay, in a disease outbreak, we have to treat and monitor sick animals. Okay, early detection is important. Okay, why is it important? It helps us to reduce exposure of susceptible animals. Therefore, controlling the disease in our herd or our flock. Next is to implement appropriate vaccination strategies. Okay. So, no generic vaccination schedule will work for all farms. Okay. You have to study the diseases which occur in the area of your production. Okay. Sometimes you got to review your vaccination program to check really if the disease is prevalent in your area, and then you can do away with some of the vaccines for diseases which of course do not occur in your area of production. Okay. And then next, about vaccination strategies, you need to take into consideration existing vaccination programs. Okay. Let's say, for example, your farm already, or the farm that you're now working with, has an existing vaccination program. Before you go ahead and jump to alter the vaccination program, you should review. Okay, take into consideration what they were using prior. Okay, it because information like this is important. The reason that some of the vaccines have been included in that program is because probably the farm had that disease before, and so it was essential to include that as a part of the vaccination program. Okay, next is to formulate an appropriate timing of vaccination. Okay, this is important. We don't vaccinate after the disease. Okay, we have to vaccinate before the disease occurs. Okay, we need to check our knowledge base to see when the disease strikes so that we can appropriately time our vaccination before it affects our herd or our flock. Next strategy is to alter the environment. Okay. So what about the environment? The environment should be kept clean, it should be dry, and of course, part of the environment would be to have an appropriate animal density. Okay. Okay. Also, we should keep in mind that the environment should be kept free of manure. Therefore, we need good manure management. For this purpose, we use litters, or if not, we have to collect it on a regular basis. Okay, and then also important to the environment is reduction of moisture or unwanted moisture, because moisture, okay, if you don't know it yet, okay, it gives rise to flies. It also enhances ammonia production. Therefore, the need to reduce moisture. Okay, large populations in small areas often are related to rapid disease transmission. So this is the part about animal density. Okay, in a herd or flock or a group of animals with less animals, meaning they are appropriately spaced or taken care for, then the chances of disease transmission are reduced. Okay, next strategy we have is herd history. Okay, historical health data. This is important when formulating disease protocols. Okay, like what we mentioned in the vaccination part, you need to know when disease strikes so that you can be ahead of the disease. You can vaccinate against that disease. Okay, another example would be, for example, if the farm was known to have nutrient deficiencies. Okay, make sure to conduct tests every now and then to check on the specific nutrient levels of animals. Okay, because this deficiency might again be present in the flock or the herd. Okay, it is also important to observe rest periods. Okay, when growing animals, make sure that when it's an all-in, all-out operation, we should observe rest periods, or the time when the pens, the cages, or facilities where we keep animals are empty. Okay. Right. Also, it's important to properly clean and disinfect these animal rearing areas. Okay, when we do our rest periods, after that, we should properly clean and disinfect. Okay, next strategy we have is surveillance. Okay. Surveillance, it is necessary to regularly monitor the herd for diseases. Okay, we have to make sure that the disease does not occur again in the herd once we have controlled it. Okay, so we need to perform necropsy when an animal dies. Okay, the value of necropsy is that it provides information on why the animal died and also provide us any underlying problems that may be present in our herd, which of course could not be detected just by looking at the animals. All right, additional tests such as bacterial cultures, toxin screens, and mineral or trace element levels are also important tests or additional information that you can gather to check the overall health of the herd or the flock when you're doing an effective surveillance. Okay, so to have an effective herd health management, you need to have a plan, a herd health plan. Okay, this is a tool to help manage livestock all year long. Okay, the use of it is it helps us to establish production targets. It also aids us in management decisions, and it also helps in record keeping. Okay, so what are the components of a herd health plan? Okay, first one, important contacts related to the operation. Next is animal care information. After that, operation overview. And then next is specific information. And then mechanism for taking care of animals. And then animal health records. Okay, let's talk about each one of them. So, important contacts related to the operation. Okay, whose contact numbers do you need? Okay, it includes here the owner. Okay, the owner being the major decision maker when it comes to the operation. Let's say, for example, in the middle of the night, okay, there was an event. Okay, for example, there had been a storm, and then the housing, okay, it got torn apart. Okay, who do we report it? We report it to the owner so that he could make appropriate management decisions. Okay, next contact we need to have is the contact number of the veterinarian. Okay, the veterinarian is important because we need to inform the veterinarian. I mean, if you're not the chief veterinarian for the operations, then of course the chief veterinarian has to be informed of the situation so that major medical decisions can be made. Okay, facilities manager. Okay, so going back to the example of a storm and for example the poultry house or the facilities where we keep animals, okay, gets torn apart, then the facilities manager can make appropriate decisions regarding that on what to do with the animals, where to place them, okay, and then what other measures can be done. Okay, and then of course other additional emergency contacts. It's important to have the number of the power company. It's important to have the number of the company that provides water. Okay. All right. Next, we have animal care information. Okay. For animal care information in the herd health plan, this should include housing information. Okay, it should include uh, what specific breed or when the house was loaded or when the animals were brought into the farm. Okay, that should be the information included in the housing information. Okay, next is biosecurity, still under animal care information. Okay, this should include the necessary measures we use when we access our houses. Okay, like we make sure to refill foot dips, vehicle dips. Okay, gates that are needed to be closed at all times. Okay, no access areas to unnecessary personnel. Okay, those are the information necessary for biosecurity. Okay, and then next we have protocols. Protocols are what we do in a particular situation. Okay, let's say for example there was an outbreak of disease. Then what should be done? Okay, included here would be plans for isolation, plans for treatment, okay, plans for repopulation. Okay, and then treatment protocols. These are the medicines or medication that we give to our animals. Okay, in the event of a disease. Okay. Feed types are also under animal care information. It is important that we take note of when and what particular animal feed type we give to our animals at this age or at this season. And then also we should include directions to our farm. Let's say, for example, if we keep different facilities in different areas, then we should have directions to our farm. It should come in handy whenever we need to guide auxiliary personnel or outside personnel who, for example, need to collect blood samples, or for those who need to deliver feeds and they're not familiar with your farm. Next component of a herd health plan is operation overview. Okay, that should include the mission statement, production goals, okay, the purpose of production, such as if the animal is a breeding stock, or if we're using them for their meat or eggs, wool, or milk. Okay. In terms of production goals, it must be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, as well as timely. Okay. Next part of herd health plan is specific information. Okay. So each herd health plan should be only for one species. Okay. For example, if you're making a herd health plan, if you're maintaining swine as well as poultry in your farm, then they should have a separate herd health plan. Okay. And then specific information would include livestock inventory. We should have a head count of our animals, the dams, the sires, okay, that we keep, okay, the bulls, the rams. Okay. And then, of course, the breeds of animals. We should have that specific information handy. Okay. There exists information such as breed standards, and of course, when we're doing measurement of the weight of our animals, we can cross-reference them with existing breed standards. Next we have is the breeding type. Okay. So, what are the animals that we keep? Do we have castrated animals? Do we have sires? Do we have dams? And then also the date of birth. We should have that information handy, or the date of loading. Okay, that's important information. And then of course our animal identification system. Okay, We should have information on that. Okay, so that people who are unfamiliar with the system that we use, we can provide this information. Okay, next is another essential part of herd health plan is mechanism for taking care of animals. This includes general management, feed protocols, health protocols, animal health records. Okay, so let's start with general management. Okay, this includes when to purchase animals, the weighing of animals, the start of breeding, the birthing schedule, and other practices we conduct, such as castration, the horning, the beaking. Okay. Another mechanism for taking care of animals under the herd health plan is feed protocols. Okay, what to feed during summer or winter. Okay, and then what feeds we provide for different life stages. Okay, like for egg laying. Okay, it's different from what we provide to our birds early in their early stages. Then also supplement or mineral needs. Okay, we need to have information on that. And then next is health protocols under mechanism for taking care of animals. This should include vaccination schedules, bedding, housing, as well as treatment protocols. And then animal health records. Okay, so for this, we need to have information on changes to feed, when it was changed, what it was changed to, and the date of the administration of a particular medication. Okay, to see if that medication is working or if the flock or herd or group of animals has improved after being given that medication. And then, of course, miscellaneous animal health information. Okay? Like, for example, when a test was conducted, when blood collection was done, okay, that important miscellaneous information needs to be recorded. All right, that's it for effective herd health management.